the listener question show. So hang out. We're going to start in a second. So here's a game we're going to play. It's called 5 in 10. They used to play it on my dad's radio show when he was the PD on the oldie station. So we got to name 5 things in 10 seconds.
Okay.
It's going to be Disney 5 in 10, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm putting you on the spot. You ready? Here we go. Name 5 Disney deluxe resorts in 10 seconds. Go.
Grand Floridian, Disney's Polynesian, Disney Contemporary, Boardwalk, and Beach Club. Oh my God.
If you don't.
You should have said moderate, because then I would have been sitting there like after I named 3.
I know, because there's no 5. I should have totally done that to you.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Now the bell has gone digital.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hang on. There we go. So we have
a long ring to it. Like it's not.
I know it hangs on for a little while there. Because I'm so terrible. I'm not good at doing this thing. I bought that one at the Tower of Terror store. But
yeah.
I'm just not good at hitting it right. Hey, Lisa. Hello, Margie. Hello, Diane. Wah, 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 wah.
Oh, man. You're going to be dangerous with that.
I know. Seriously. What? Hang on. Oh, here comes Ricky.
That's why she's not here. She doesn't want to hear that.
Wait, where's Ricky? What is your favorite? Let's see. Fulton's here and he says, yesterday was National Oreo Cookie Day. What is your favorite? Ooh, I had Oreo cookies yesterday in the car on the way home from Chicago. What was your favorite flavor Oreo cookie? I just like regular Oreos. I mean, I had them in so what I did, I stopped at this place called Willie's. It's like a Buc-ee's. And I got a thing of pudding, chocolate pudding with whipped cream, but on the top it had crushed up Oreos, and they're all mixed in. So that's what I had yesterday, day early. But do you have a different kind of Oreo that you like?
I didn't know there was multiple.
Well, I mean, the only ones I know of, I guess, are double stuffed, and I guess around this time of year, there's like mint, like where the filling is mint. I've seen those.
I don't eat Oreos. I'm not much. I don't know. I'm not much of a like cookie snack kind of guy. Like,
I used to be back in the day. I used to eat Hydrox cookies, which were like Oreos, but I guess they were like cheaper, probably, knowing my family. Oh, here, this one's for Lisa. Hang on. First day back to work after a Disney vacation.
You should have a trombone back there for the visual too. Like act like you're doing.
I should want. I need one. Yes. Yeah. I paid like $600 so I could just play these sounds. Actually, it's going to be pretty sweet because I can make things like clean.
You can make your own sound bites, I'm guessing, right?
Oh yeah, because look, I can do this. Check this out.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the BR.
Wow, that came in hot. That came in really hot.
Outro.
I missed that outro.
I missed that show.
That's what I mean, yeah.
How do I get back to the main bank? Hang on. Okay, I can get better at this. There's too many buttons. Okay. All right, so we're going to answer those questions. You have questions? We have answers. We'll make them up if not. We are early because it's my wife's birthday. But they're going to Spaghetti Factory without me, so oh man.
And Scotty G wants dinner.
Yeah, I do too. So they're having Spaghetti Factory, and I am having Taco Bell, looks like. All right, so let's answer those questions. I'm pulling up in the inbox, and if you have questions, please ask them in the chat. Let's see. Let me pop that back. It's not a question. We'll save that one. How's this one? 2 days ago. Okay, there we go. All right. Better early than late. All right. Let's do this. Here we go. Episode 2050. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2050 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you are having a tremendous week. And, we're all here. We're answering listener questions. That's what we do. And Ricky is in transit between Missouri and Atlanta right now. It's actually ironic that many times she is very close to the Be Our Guest Podcast studios, but that means she is unavailable to record. So you are getting the Mike and Scott show this week on Wednesday and Friday. And if you join us live on Sunday night, you'll get 3 in a row. Joining us from up in the mitten, your friend and mine, hashtag Scotty G. What's going on, Scott?
Mike, it's great to be here. It feels like it's been a little bit since I've been, so thanks for having me. And just a little, you introduced us from the midden. We went from 65 degrees to 40 degrees to 20 degrees in snow in a period of about 48 hours. So nothing unusual here in the midden.
Yeah, I spent the weekend in Chicago at a cheer competition up in the northwest suburbs, they call it. That's what you follow on the road signs, and up in Schaumburg. And of course, when you're on the treadmill in the morning, super early, I don't know how to change the channel on those hotel treadmills. Whatever the person left it on the night before is what you watch. I watch the morning forecast each morning on Saturday and Sunday, and the forecast high for Saturday as I was running was going to be 72 in Chicago, and I was like, that pretty much rocks for the very beginning of March there. And then on Sunday, there was a sustained winds of 42 miles an hour with a high of 37. And it was so cold when we left there. And then it was snowing on Monday when we left. So the day after we left. So I get it, because we were up kind of in your neck of the woods up there in the Great Lakes. And it's kind of the same down here. We had an 83-degree day last week, and now it's going to snow on Friday. Here's the kicker. Okay, everybody, the runners will get this. I waited to the last minute to sign up for a local race this coming Saturday. It's called the St. Patty's Half Marathon. Flat as a pancake course, 5 minutes down the road. It's right on the Missouri River. Flat as a pancake. I ran my PR ever, fastest ever run on that course, just because there's zero hills. I'm like, should I do it? Should I not? I don't want to pay my, $75, which, it's a bargain considering what Run Disney races cost, right? I wait till the last day, the last hour, before I go to bed. I'm like, fine, I'll sign up. I did. We're driving home from Chicago, and Pam's going through the weather for the week. I'm like, what's Saturday look like? Because it's now in the forecast. Like, let me look. The high on Saturday in St. Louis, 24 degrees with a low of 13 and snowing on Friday. I'm like, are you kidding me? So yes, that was a nice donation to the St. Patty's Fund, because I probably will not be running that race. But yeah, this time of year, I'm ready for some, and we don't even have baseball like to watch down in Florida or Arizona, where at least you see good weather. It's a tough year.
Golf. That's why you gotta get into golf, Mike, because in February, when they make the California tour, there's Torrey Pines, there's Phoenix, in Pebble Beach, and I just sit on my couch when it's 5 degrees outside and just say oh my God, I could hop on a plane and be there in 3 or 4 hours. What am I doing sitting on my couch?
I know. This
torture,
time
actually, to be honest, it's actually torture. But
it is. I mean, this time of year, the folks that live in Florida, and they're the ones that you really get jealous of when you live up north, because we feel like we've made it through winter. If you're from the Midwest or the North, any place where it hasn't really. And the thing was, we got that taste. I was able to wear shorts for a day and a half. I almost wanted to take the top down on the Jeep. But I knew it was too much work and it wouldn't be warm enough. But it's we're so close. I think that's why we go down. And this is why, I'll tell you what, this had something to do with it. This is why I signed up for the spring surprise Run Disney race weekend, because I just need a weekend to be in some warm weather. So guess what? I'll be down there in the 10 and the half, not even half, the 10 and the 10, I guess we're calling it. But I can't wait to see you guys. And Friday, I want to talk to you, because you're going to join us on Friday and talk about the Princess Race weekend, your stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Anything else outside those two things we want to talk about on Friday that were kind of highlights of that trip?
We talk about some good dining. There's definitely some good dining. We talk about the crowds. The crowds are kind of crazy, but and the weather. You just teased it right there, and I'll talk about that on Friday. But that's one of the reasons why I love going down in February, because I am so over winter at that point that I just need my palm tree and sunshine fix. So that's usually why I make a February trip.
It looked good. Yeah, those pictures looked Look pretty good. You were in the pool at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and I was like, oh, you're killing me. Anyway, so we're here to answer your listener questions. Thanks for joining us here live on Facebook and YouTube. You can always join us on Mondays, usually around 5:30 Eastern or so we go live. So plan to join us next week. But if you have a question, you can always drop that into the inbox at mike@beourguestpodcast.com. But let's get to the first question of the day from Ashley Gibson. And it's about one of Scott's favorite places. Glad he's here. Hey there. We plan to visit over Easter weekend. We have a lunch. Let's see, planned Saturday of Easter weekend at the Grand Floridian Cafe.
Yeah.
Will the Grand Flo have the beautiful decorated Easter eggs out? Any other Easter weekend must-dos? This is where we really need. Ricky seems to always be down around Easter. She has this Easter thing going on. Like, she likes to see the Easter bunny, I think. But what do you think? I would imagine they would have them out on the Saturday before Easter, right? I mean, that's like within 24 hours of the holiday.
Yep. They totally would. And that's something I would recommend for sure. And like, I love being at Walt Disney World around the holidays for multiple reasons. It's just fun to be with your family and friends around the holidays. Plus, there's different things that happen at the resorts and the parks. I have been there for Easter before, and now I will say this is pre-pandemic, so some things might slightly change. But I remember one of my favorite activities is, Mike, do you ever do like the campfires, like where you make s'mores or toast marshmallows or anything like that? Have you ever done that?
I've only done it at Universal at Cabana Bay.
You're killing me.
But I have been over at Fort Wilderness. Like, I was waiting out a Trails End ADR when Chippendale, we're getting ready to do that with everybody. Yeah.
I'll never forget on Easter Sunday, we were at the Yacht and Beach Club. We went to their campfire, and not that I care for these, but they really made it the Easter theme. They were roasting peeps instead of
that's even better. That's kind of weird, but that's kind of awesome too at the same time.
So it was kind of cool. And they usually don't have like graham crackers that make s'mores or whatever, but they had graham crackers out there, and you roasted peeps because it was Easter. You know, that was kind of a fun little thing to do. One of my favorite things to do at Easter time, and this is one I really don't think they'll do, but they used to have this awesome parade with all these women and ladies like in these like crazy dresses. They're from Alabama, I think.
We talk about the name of this group every year. Ricky, I can't remember them. They are
Ricky's obsessed with it. Like, she's never seen it, I don't think, but I've sent her video that she posted on the Mouse for Less. So if you ever see that video on their website, that's me behind the scenes doing the filming. But it is so cool though. Like, it's like a 5-minute quick parade on Easter Sunday, but they like all have these like matching like awesome beautiful dresses. I hope they bring that back this year. Like, I don't know if they've started making announcements for entertainment for Easter yet, but I mean, Festival of Fantasy is coming back this week. Actually, it came back today that this episode is being dropped.
Yeah.
So, so maybe they'll get a shot at seeing the Easter parade again.
And apparently, usually the Easter Bunny is there right at the holiday weekend. So you probably have a shot at seeing the Easter Bunny. Again, character meeting and greeting it's very fluid right now. I think that, and I know nothing like official from Disney, but I just feel like we're on the verge. I was going to ask you about this because I just like having these when you're on. I feel like this is just kind of us talking a lot of times because this is what we do. I mean, trust me, I talk to Ricky and Pam, but I talk to you more about just life and stuff. So after seeing Galactic Star Cruiser, because I didn't get to talk to you about this, like, I mean, everything was indoors. And I mean, these character meet and greets, I mean, it was just like the old days. I mean, this could have been 2002, I mean, everything was up close. So, I mean, is this not something that, I mean, if it's safe inside the Halcyon, I mean, could this not be safe everywhere?
Maybe that's a test. Maybe that's a test, Mike, to see how it works. I got teased on an article I saw because it was like someone hugging like Winnie the Pooh or Tigger or something, and like, character hugs are coming back. I was like, what? This is awesome. But it was like in Paris or something.
They always do that. I know. I always got to look at the hashtag. I've learned that. Like, I always get taken about it. Disney Park. And I'm like, I always think Walt Disney World. And it's always, you got to look at the hashtag and be like Disneyland Paris. I'm like, oh. Yep.
It was Paris or some other foreign. Yeah. But maybe that's a sign that they'll come back here. Because I would love to give my pal Mickey a hug. Mike, we've had some funny character meet and greets with him back in the day with race medals and such. And I'd love to show them to him, but like, I do like the social distance characters. Well, actually, you know what? I'll tease that for Friday because I did a character meet and greet when I was down at Princess Weekend. So we'll save that for that trip report on Friday.
All right, can't forget. All right, and shout out to Beth in the live chat. It's the Azalea Trail Maids. I was thinking dandelions for some reason. I'm like, it can't be dandelions. That would not make sense because that's a weed. And I was thinking petunias. I couldn't remember. I knew it was some kind of a flower or something.
They are awesome. I'll tell you what we did. I mean, going back to Easter, one of my favorite hacks was because she was talking about lunch at Grand Floridian Cafe. I love that idea. But we had brunch where, you go in for a late breakfast ADR that flips over to lunch at a buffet. It was Crystal Palace, and it was awesome. We were looking at the castle on Easter Sunday, had my breakfast, then I had my turkey and like sliced beefs and ice cream and all that. Then I walked out and boom, watched the parade. It was awesome. Great day.
Yeah, I saw today on Twitter. I was just scrolling through Twitter, while I was eating lunch, and I saw, a famous blog site that we all follow posted. I didn't read the article, but I just saw the headline. Is the Grand Floridian Cafe a secret hidden gem at Walt Disney World? I'm like, yes. I mean, yes. I don't need to post it, click on that. Yes, it is. It's a winner. Yeah, and stop posting about that. Knock it off.
I know.
You got a lot of followers. Quit. Okay. Diane is in our live chat with us as always. Thanks for being here. Heading to Walt Disney World soon, planning for 3 park days, the first of which would hopefully be the day we arrive. If for some reason we end up delayed, is it possible to cancel a park reservation the day of? Have you had to do that, Scott? I don't think I have.
I've done that many a times. So yes, easy peasy to go in and cancel it. One thing I often do is I'll try to modify it. And I actually did this on my last trip, Mike. So we had a Hollywood Studios booked, and we're sitting there waiting for the bus. You see all the other buses coming. You know the scene, right, Mike? You're just like, I just want to get on that bus and go to the park and get my Starbucks or get something, And we're looking at wait times. We're like, holy cow, like the studios is packed. I don't even know if it's even worth going there. And then all of a sudden another Epcot bus comes. I'm like, nope, we're going to get on that Epcot bus. I'm going to cancel the studios one and pray that I can get an Epcot park reservation.
You can.
It worked out perfectly. It worked out. Because Epcot is one you can normally get, but I got lucky because all the other parks were actually blocked out.
Really? Really?
Yeah. But yeah, you can definitely go into the app and cancel it. It's really easy. I don't think you can do it through the app. You have to go through the website, the Walt Disney World website on your phone. But very easy to do. Yeah.
Yep. Ashley Gibson has a great point here in the live chat. Best time to visit Walt Disney World in February and March from the Midwest because we are all over the snow and cold weather. Hashtag palm trees of Disney.
I like that hashtag. And yeah, I February, March, sometimes I visit both months. That's how over winter I have some years.
I hear you. Megan's here, and I believe she's also from the Mitten. Maybe we got a lot of Megans, and I got to keep them straight. But she says signature dining choice: Yachtsman or Flying Fish. We used to love California Grill, but our recent visit wasn't quite up to par. He loves steak, and I love seafood. So California Grill was always our happy medium. Looking to try something new next time. Now, I have not been to either. I do want to get to Yachtsman. That's the one. But I mean, Pam Forrester, California Grill and Flying Fish are her 1A, 1B. So both there. So what you've probably been to both, I'd imagine.
I've been to both. I like both a lot. I'm actually going to be going to Yachtsman over springtime surprise. So excited to go back there. So Megan says she loves seafood and he likes steak. So since Megan is the one asking the question, I think it's all about Megan in this case.
Well, it's funny too, because I mean, if you think about it too, it's funny because even in the name of the restaurants, right? I mean, one is the Yachtsman Steakhouse, and the other one is the Flying Fish. I mean, it couldn't be more polarizing.
So seafood outstanding at Flying Fish, hence the name. But you can still get a heck of a steak at Flying Fish. I've done that. I've been there a few times and I've gotten the steak. So awesome atmosphere. You can go to Abracadabra beforehand, maybe get a cocktail before if that's your thing. I would go with Flying Fish in this case.
So here's a philosophical question, and you eat at more fancier restaurants than I do.
Yeah.
Is it more likely for a steakhouse to do seafood well, or is it more likely for a seafood restaurant to have a good steak secondarily? What do you think is the best way? If I go to Coral Reef, I mean, they're going to possibly have a good steak, or if I, which way do you think?
The seafood more at a seafood place, because I feel like anyone can do a steak. You know what I mean? Whereas a steakhouse, I think they're going to do steaks much better than fish. But I would say I don't even know where Narcoossee's lands, but like the surf and turf in Narcoossee's is awesome, where you can get like the lobster and the steak, like because they do both so darn well. You know what I mean? And at signature places like Yachtsman and Flying Fish, they're going to do both really well. But that's a great question. I'm going to trust the seafood more at a seafood place, though. If you know,
that probably makes sense. I would tend to. I would tend to agree that
I can even make a steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's probably easier to make a steak than to do seafood right. I have no idea. We need Chef Todd. I don't know. But
yeah, it's more of a Chef Todd question.
I just know every time you post something on Instagram, I'm starving. Here's the compliment for Chef Todd. We'll make this a 5-minute Chef Todd, a little tangent. No, we won't go 5 minutes. But when you post stuff on Tangent, and you can follow him on Instagram at Chef Todd 55, is that he makes fancy stuff not look. This isn't a diss, but like he describes things with words I don't know what they mean. But like when I look at the picture, it just looks like something that just looks good. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Like everything he prepares just looks good. So I would tear it up.
So honestly, I was just thinking though, I think my answer for Megan is try to get an Narcoossee's because you can get both really well there. I just thought about that.
There you go. Oh, and Becca says, how about Le Cellier? My husband loved the seafood option there.
I love Le Cellier, and I can't get in there. I'm trying to get in there. I haven't been able to eat there in like 3 years. Like it's almost like the old dining plan days. Remember when like it was a hot ticket then because it was like 1 credit. Everyone loved it. And I can't ever find an ADR for Le Cellier anymore. Probably because it's small and they're probably doing limited seating.
Yeah, I would think that. I mean, the reason I think you couldn't get in Le Cellier way back like a decade ago was because WDW Today talked it up so hard. Like, right? Obviously it was super small, but that was like the restaurant to get. And it was 1 credit. So it was a really good, like fancy restaurant that was a good value. I mean, it kind of hit all the buttons there on the dining plan. But the funny thing is like, I never hear about Le Cellier ever anymore. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a good restaurant, but I mean, you got all these other restaurants that have all the buzz.
Right.
Do you hear about it? I don't.
I mean, Georgia, and Georgia, he talks about it all the time. That's like his favorite place to go now. And that's why I'm trying to get back there because it's been a minute and I got to see what's different about it,
It's funny how things like cycle, right?
Sure.
I mean, I'm like really hot on Coral Reef. I want to eat at Coral Reef sometimes.
I have that booked for Springtime Surprise. Not when you're down there, though. Yeah, I don't think it's before that. Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. Right. I haven't been to Coral Reef in so long. I was like,
Space 220.
I was looking at photos. It's been like 5-6 years. Like, and I'll tell you, I'm going to preface this now so it's recorded on the podcast, and I'll come back from Springtime in the chair. One of my biggest issues with Coral Reef is that I end up waiting in that lobby for 45 minutes to get seated every single time. Like they're always way behind, and it's just frustrating to me. Like I don't know if it's because everyone just takes their time and watch it because it's entertaining when you're in there. You just watch the room and the fish. So I don't know if that's what the issue is, but like it was always backed up. So we'll see what happens in March.
And I'd be asleep because that place is like relaxing. It's chill. Right. Like I can't wait 45 minutes. I'll be out. So anyway, all right, we're moving on to the next question. But Stephen Reed says one of the best steaks he's ever had was at Flying Fish. So just more feedback on that.
So Megan, you're good. But wherever you're going to go, like you're going to find a good combination of seafood and steaks for sure at the signature restaurants.
And now everybody's going out tonight to Applebee's for surf and turf. So in your local town. All right, Kate has a question here in the live chat. Let's see. Hey guys, are they still doing luggage transport from resort to resort? We're doing a split stay and just curious if they still offer that. Yes, they do. They do not deliver it like Magical Express style anymore. That's what's missing. So like, it's obvious there's no Magical Express. They're not delivering it to your room when you arrive or a departure, but they will transfer it. But the lesson to be learned here is though, it can take a while to get from resort A to resort B. So anything you want to have in the interim, like a swimsuit, medicines, your contacts, your glasses, if you want to swap those out.
Running shoes.
If you're doing a race, don't pack your running shoes in the bag that's going to get lost between Beach Club and Pop Century. But it does happen. But it's like it's amazing how sometimes when you think you need something, it can take longer than expected, like 8 to 10 hours maybe. So it does happen though.
It's a great service. I'm glad that that's still around because with the availability of resorts these days, if you're trying to do a long trip, you're most likely going to have to do a split stay because it's so hard to get a good length of time. So I'm glad that they still offer that.
I had a guest doing 4 resorts in 6 days coming up. I mean, they're going to get a fun experience. I mean, honestly, that is fun. I mean, you got to bounce, but I mean, you're going to get 4 different experiences.
That's a lot of homeless time.
Yeah, it is. They're going to be in the parks. Alfred's asking, has the afternoon tea returned at the Grand Floridian? That is one of the things that still has not returned yet.
Yep.
Hopefully it will soon, though. I think with hopefully Victoria and Albert's, sounds like they're kind of warming up to get ready to come back from what I have heard. Maybe that will return shortly after.
I heard when we were having a meal at Grand Floridian that 1900 Park Fair might be
that'd be a big one too. I forgot about 1900 Park Fair. See, when that one, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah, because so what did you hear it's going to return like in full character meal?
I did hear all that. Just a very, very nice server that we had at the Grand Floridian Resort. I won't even say which restaurant, but told us that Narcoossee's may be going down for refurb. And when that happens, 1900 will come back up. So we'll see.
So ironically,
I have a feeling that she's right on. So
yeah, well, they usually are.
Yeah.
So both of us have done Grand Floridian Cafe's high tea, which was fun. That was a treat, I think, by the Foresters. We went, didn't we? We did something.
Yeah, we did a big group there.
We did a big group tea there, and
I got a new nickname there, Scotty T.
Scotty T. And so here's the thing I would say about that, though. When it comes back, and I would imagine it would. I have a lot of misconceptions about a lot of things. Like I forever thought I couldn't go into the Grand Floridian because, it's not, I'm just Mike from the Midwest, and I don't belong in there. And that's not the case, and there's a lot of misconceptions I have in my head about things like that. And I never thought I would enjoy the tea at the Grand Floridian. And I loved it. Now, the thing was, I loved the company because I was there with Scott's family, the Foresters. There was a bunch of us. I think Jocelyn's girls and family there was a bunch of us. But the thing was, like, they knew I was a fish out of water. Like our server, if there was one person at the table that was the fish out of water at the tea, it was me, because they were asking you, how do you take your tea? I'm like, the only tea I've ever, this was the honest to God words I told the server. The only tea I've had is my grandma's sweet tea and the sweet tea at McDonald's. And that's the only, and I love that stuff. It's great. She's like, oh, sir, I don't know what to tell you. So she found me like a sweet tea and I had it and I loved it. And the little sandwiches were outstanding. They were just
like 4 up sandwiches.
Oh, I could have had 7 of them. But I mean, it was fun because it's almost the stuff of like storybook, right? I mean, you're having an experience. You're not going there to get full. You're going there to like, every person at some point in school read a book about somebody having like tea and crumpets, or, I felt very, high society there. Like I was on the Titanic or something with my friends, and then you spilled the hot tea in your lap. I mean, almost scalded yourself, and could have been an emergency room trip. It was a hoot. Like it was fun. And the thing, that's the thing is, I would have never done that on my own. And it's one of my favorite memories I've ever had at Walt Disney World. Who would have thought? It's one of those things. I think it's a lesson to be learned. Try things.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I remember we went to the Magic Kingdom. There's a few of us, like, were kind of dressed up for the occasion, so we got some photos in front of the castle with our tea attire on. Then I think that's the trip where we did the contest. Like, is it boat faster or monorail faster back to the Grand Floridian? And I was on Team Monorail and we lost, unfortunately. But that was a fun experience. And yeah, definitely for anyone. And I hope it comes back soon. With the thoughts of maybe 1900 coming back and other things, like that would be really good to see. Another one that needs to come back desperately is Hoop-Dee-Doo. I need Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Yes.
Because I've never done it. I was going to do it in 2020.
Yeah.
And then,
I've done Hoop-Dee-Doo, I think 3 times. I love Hoop-Dee-Doo. I love
it with Moose, though. I swore I would do it my first time with Moose because apparently he's a riot at it, and I got to see it.
I want to go. Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd like to do it with Moose too. And the food is outstanding because it's just trails in chicken and all the good stuff. And it's so stinking good. And it is a corny show. It's like being in Branson, basically is what it is. It's Branson, like at Walt Disney World. But it's fun. All right. So let's see. Tammy had a question. You don't have to put question in the front. We'll figure it out if you put a question mark on the end, but it's cool, Tammy. You're standing with Tigger. We got you. She's always here. We love it. Are they still doing the late nights on Wednesdays for deluxe resort guests? I haven't looked at the schedule, but you were just there. Did you notice anything with the schedule? Was it Wednesday night?
I didn't even notice. I don't even think I was there on a Wednesday on that quick trip, but I have to believe they're still doing it, Mike, because I haven't really heard otherwise. So I can't say with 100% certainty. Maybe someone in the chat can chime in for us, but I would say that they are still doing that. Actually, you know what? Joe did it. I remember he posted on social media like he he flew down from Tennessee, like, and that later that night he went to Epcot after hours, like the late night for the deluxe, and boom, went on Ratatouille and left because that's all I had time for.
That's crazy awesome, but that's crazy. I like it. And Megan's in the live chat says, yes, Epcot on Wednesday. And she says she just did it. So there we go. I love our listeners right there. I mean, just ask them. Bam. You don't have to be smart. You just got to talk right into this microphone. You get answers. All right, let's see here. And Christopher Chebo in the live chat says, hey, Mike and Scott, new DVC member, and lucky to say I'll be down there at the end of this month for a 3-way split stay, the Polynesian, Saratoga, and Animal Kingdom Lodge. Heard about Moonlight Magic event and signed up when it opened. I know this hasn't taken place yet since COVID, but just curious. Scott, have you done this before? If so, what should we expect? Crowd similar to a paid after-hours event? Same kind of free food and drinks, etc. Excited to give it a shot. I know you've done one of these because you've called me from one of these, right?
They are awesome, and I'm down there that same time frame when they're going to have the event. But unfortunately, I'm running the Expedition Everest 5K the night of that event. That was smart on Disney. They knew that they would have runners that wouldn't be able to do it. But yeah, so Christopher, those events are awesome. I would say you're right on the spot. Like, it's very similar to a paid after hours event. So, I mean, there's going to be some crowds there. Like, there's a good amount of DVC members that want to do these, but it's not going to be like middle of the day crowds, you know what I mean? Or even like normal nighttime crowds. Like, it's going to be significantly lower. You're going to have crazy atmosphere. The environment's going to be awesome. And then, yeah, you're going to have the same awesome snacks where I think one time they forced like 4 Mickey sandwiches to me. And of course I ate them all. So.
I was gonna say, that's a rough gig there. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay, if I have to. So yeah, have a blast. Let us know how that goes. I know another friend's going to be doing it too. But jealous I can't be there, but I'm kind of excited. I'll be doing Everest again. So.
Not that this would happen, but was that not the night where they did that special fireworks show where you sent it to me and I was like, this is the coolest fireworks show just out of nowhere? Was that
the first time they ever did one of those? It was DVC 25. It was like a big celebration of the 25th anniversary of DVC. So that was like their first. It wasn't called Moonlight Magic yet, but that's basically what it was. And yeah, Mike, we had. I still have the video. Like. It was
amazing.
It was a 13-minute fireworks show for DVC members. That was something that they never had done before. And this is at a time where there's speculation that Wishes was going away, you know, so everyone was like, this is the new fireworks show. They're just testing it out. Happily Ever After ended up being a little bit different, but it was pretty similar. But yeah, they just do awesome stuff like that. So who knows? There could be a special surprise that we don't even know that's going to happen on the Moonlight Magic. So very excited for you.
Very, very cool. All right, let's hop over to the inbox because we got to hit those two. And Julianne has a question here. It says 10-year anniversary epic vacation. Hello, BOGP crew. My husband and I are planning an epic vacation for our 10-year wedding anniversary in August. We'll be staying at Saratoga Springs for 4 nights with 2 park days, Magic Kingdom and Epcot with park hoppers, a 4-night cruise on the Wish, and then wrapping up with 3 nights at Lowe's Portofino Bay at Universal with 4 Universal Park days. Here's the thing. We'll have our 6-year-old kiddo with us. How would you sneak in some anniversary celebrations for our whole family? I feel this. Our kids are always with us. We're thinking of making use of childcare on the Wish. Any recommendations for something romantic on the cruise while our kiddos are in the childcare area? Finally, a quick question. Is it allowable to take portable boosters to the parks? We are going to take an Uber or Lyft to the parks, but we need a booster for our son. I thought we could put it in a locker. Or if that's not possible, how hard is it to find a lift with a car seat or booster? Thanks so much, Julianne. Okay, last question first. I think it's pretty, if you just put in, I think you can actually search like for cars with boosters on Uber and Lyft, and that I wouldn't carry that around. I don't even know if you could bring that in, but I think it'd be
I wouldn't want to carry it around. I don't even know how you even get it in a locker. You have to get a pretty big locker, perhaps. Take the stress out of that. Yeah, Mike's right. There's filters for searching it. And if you're in Orlando, a lot of Lyft and Uber drivers have those.
Yeah, totally. That just sounds like a TikTok video waiting to happen, like going into the park with a booster seat. And not that it couldn't, it might be possible. I'm just saying it probably wouldn't be fun. So let's get back to the fun stuff though. On the Wish, let's just get to the Wish because we all cruise. Of course, the Wish is not out yet, but we'll just talk about our experiences on the other ships that we've done. The kiddo's probably going to enjoy the Oceaneers Lab / club. No, Lab and
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ocean Beers Club or whatever. I
The
mean,
Lab.
there's some hit and miss. Like the first couple times, they might not like it so much, and I don't know if they sailed on the other. I mean, they might have already sailed on the Fantasy and Dream before too. But you're absolutely right, man. That's where I was going. Drop them off to the kids club. That's going to be your best shot, right? I think for some romance on this trip, because like it's kind of included in your cruise fare already. And then I don't know, Mike. Were you thinking like a Apollo dinner, maybe?
Yeah, that's what well, I mean, so I haven't even been keeping up tightly with the Wish. The Wish will have Remy, right?
Well, definitely. I assume they'll have Remy and Paolo both.
I can't even remember at this point. I'm sorry. It's been a crazy weekend. But the thing is, do the adults exclusive restaurant. But here's the thing: you probably want to spread this out over 2 nights because your kid probably won't want to be in the club. This is practical experience. Your kid's going to call you after a couple hours and be like, "I'm ready to get out of the club." That's how it works. I mean, you're not going to get like a 4-hour chunk. It's not probably going to happen. But maybe on 2 nights, maybe like the first and the third, or the second and the fourth, something like that. Do 1 night, the fancy restaurant, Paolo, Remy, whatever, adults exclusive. The second night, though, here's where I think that if you can get away from the kid for just a little bit, the adults club, if you can get down there for like the adults only comedy routine, or, when you're down in like the equivalent of like Evolution or the Tube and they have the live entertainment down there, that stuff, even though it's not really romantic, it's just cool to be down there and having a good time with just your significant other in the adults area, drink and some laughing and some dancing. That's awesome.
You hit it right. You hit it right there, Mike. Maybe that's match or mate that night or something.
Yeah, something like that is hilarious.
Yeah, pretty hilarious.
Maybe you're up
actually. It's funny. I was kind of going that way too, Mike, because I was thinking like maybe go to the adults area because they have a swimming area too. Maybe go for a quick swim or just chill for a little bit. It's much quieter on that part of the ship, and then clean up afterwards, and then go to the nightclub. Like man. I'm ready to sign up and do that myself right now.
Seriously. Yeah, our anniversary is in June. We could do that. It'll be 16 years. All right. So, and shout out to Sean, who is currently at the Flower and Garden Festival watching us. You are killing us. And so at the parks, though, Diane has a great suggestion, a dessert party, because that's something you could enjoy with your kid. Your kid would love that. And, desserts, fireworks. I mean, shoot, doesn't get better than that. That's a good idea.
I was thinking some mini golf personally, but no.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun too. That's more active. Yeah, that'd be.
I'm just kidding.
No, you know what? That'd be. Hey, I like that. We've actually done that. And a couples massage, yes, actually we did. That was the first thing we did. We took so my wife and I took a cruise for our honeymoon on Freedom of the Seas on Royal Caribbean, and the very first thing we did when we got on the ship, we did a couples massage on that cruise. And it was awesome. I fell asleep like within 15 minutes, but I think it was awesome because I was asleep because it was so comfortable.
I've only had like a couple massages, and like, man, you don't even enjoy the moment because you just sleep during the whole time.
Dude. That was the most expensive nap I ever took. But I woke up and I smelled good, and I was like, I felt good. I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, it was yeah. Because I mean, we were done before the ship even set sail. But the thing was, it was me. That was like the cheap prices were like before you sailed, like
you're not looking at the ocean. You're like,
exactly. It's like we feel, get a massage right now. Sea day, it's twice as much. Anyway, there's your answer. And that's gonna be a fun stay though. I mean, Saratoga, I would spend some time over at Disney Springs. Obviously, it sounds like you will because you only are going to the parks 2 days than the cruise. And then Portofino Bay. So real quick, any thoughts over at Universal for them? Because you've spent a little time over there. I will tell you, I've never stayed at Portofino, but I toured it a few years back with the Magic for Less. We were doing some trainings. I mean, that is like staying in a little Italian village. They have great restaurants, just great pools. I would hang out there.
Say go to the restaurant there. So we went there for Elizabeth's birthday one year, and it was awesome. That's the one resort we stayed at was Portofino. And I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. The pool was awesome. I mean, this isn't very romantic, man, but I love the nachos that they had, like poolside.
Who says nachos aren't romantic? Come on.
And then we got these margaritas where they gave us like an extra like shooter shot or something. Like we're having a good old time at the pool. But yeah, there's definitely some high end like dining for sure that I would recommend if that's in the budget, because that's can't get more romantic than that. That's awesome.
All right, let's get to another question here in the inbox. Is using a Disney gift card with no Disney dining plan. Hello, BOGP crew. My family of 3 has a Walt Disney World trip booked for November, and we'll be staying on site. As you know, Disney is not currently offering its dining plan. In all of our recent Walt Disney World trips, we've always used the dining plan. I'm thinking of buying a Disney gift card, taking advantage of the Target Red Card 5% off trick to use for all of my family's meals, but I have a few logistical questions. Number one, can I link the Disney gift card to the My Disney Experience app / Magic Band? The question to that one is, or the answer is no, but Scott is good at this because you use Disney gift cards all the time, right?
All the time. So I don't know where the future questions are going, but yeah. So I am a big time Target 5% off. Like, you know, if you're going to have a big dining trip coming up, like, yeah, that 5% is going to go a long way. So yeah, so I'll combine all the cards on the Disney gift card website. You can only put up 1,000 on a card, so I'll have like a couple of them. And so it stinks that you can't put it on, like, link it to your Magic Band or My Disney Experience. But what you can do, as long as you're staying on site and you have a credit card on file, just charge to your Magic Band the whole time, and then go down to the lobby every day and just pay it off. Like, I try to go in like weird off times, you know, now that like check-in time, you know, I try to find like a random time in the middle of the day where I'll go up and I was like, hey, I just want to pay down my room charges with my gift card, and you scan your Magic Band, boom, boom, boom. It's done in like 90 seconds and you're ready to go. So all those charges ended up being paid on your gift card, essentially. It's just much easier than paying with the gift card every time you go somewhere. Just use the Magic Band and pay down the room charges.
Yep. You got to get it though before they hit the credit card though, right? That's the trick. Is that the trick?
So the key is, so they check you out. They clear like your folio like
the night before
3 in the morning sometimes, or really like, or 11 p.m. So I like to do it. So say I'm checking out on a Saturday, I want to do it like Friday mid-afternoon before it like really hits the folio. But there's workarounds for that. It's happened to me before where they've charged my credit card. I've just gone down and explained the situation. They refund my credit card and then I pay it off again. But that's more of a hassle, so I would try to avoid that.
All right, number 2, do all the restaurants on property, including restaurants at Disney Springs, accept Disney gift cards? Correct. They all pretty much. I mean, I haven't come up against any of them that don't. Even I can't even think of a Disney restaurant at Disney Springs that doesn't take them.
No, I can't think of anyone that doesn't. But again, I do like the Magic Band hack because I worry about leaving gratuities. Like, I don't know how that works on a Disney gift card. So that's why I never pay the Disney gift card at a restaurant, because I don't know how they're going to get the gratuity. So I just use my Magic Band.
Well, that's question number 3. Can I use the Disney gift card to pay a gratuity on top of my dining bill, or am I better off bringing cash for gratuities? So what you would.
So someone from the chat might be able to chime in more, because I had an issue once at La Cava where I used the gift card and I put a gratuity on, and it never cleared. So then I felt really bad that
especially
the bartender never got the gratuity. So maybe it depends on the location, but I would prefer to bring cash. I just don't know how it works. I can't say with 100% certainty.
All right. And Justice, thank you so much for your help. I always enjoy each new episode of the VOGP and find it both informative and entertaining. Josh is in New Jersey, 1,074.3 miles from Walt Disney World. So thank you for that. That's great. It's going to help everybody out. I love questions like this though, because hopefully that helps Josh, but it'll probably help 15, 12 other people, you know, that are going to use this cards.
Yeah.
Can't talk.
I someone made a comment like, yeah, that's a great idea. It could be long lines, right? Like in the lobby to try to pay it down. Like, that's why I try to, if you do midday breaks, like just try to find like a random time of the day or on an early morning walk, because I'll do early morning walks around the resort, and that's kind of when I'll handle that. So just try to find like an off-peak time, or just wait.
All right, let's hit the last question of the day. It is from Anna. Hey, Mike, my husband, 5-year-old daughter, and 2-year-old son are headed to Walt Disney World in late April 2022. So will I. And we'll be staying at the Polynesian for 6 nights. I won't. I'll be at the Holiday Inn, Disney Springs. I'm considering purchasing Magic Bands for the 2 adults and our daughter, both for the convenience and also because my daughter will think it's super cool. However, I'm reluctant to purchase them too far in advance because I know Disney will be rolling out Magic Band Plus, I guess Magic Band 2s, I think is what they're called, maybe, sometime in 2022. Please help me decide whether we should pull the trigger on the regular Magic Band now or wait for a possible Magic Band Plus rollout before our trip. What is the word on the street for a possible release date, and what are the primary differences between Magic Bands and Magic Band Plus? Thanks, Anna. She's down in Houston, Texas. We haven't heard a word about when these things are coming out. We like saw them. They were, Pam has touched them. Pam Forster's had them on her wrist at an event down there for travel agents. And what's weird is I would think they would want to get them out right now because, I mean, it's the crush of travel, spring break, summer. I mean, more people to buy them. I don't know. Something must have gone wrong.
Because I think it's supposed to do like enhancements, right? Like when you watch a fireworks show, like it'll vibrate and do like things like the sync, kind of like those old ears used to do. So maybe they just don't have the technology ready for it. Because it seems like they're just leaving money on the table right now. Like
that's what I think too. I mean, it's unlike them. And I mean, the only other thing I think maybe is supply chain issues. I mean, that's seriously, I mean, that's what you hear about everything, but
That's
maybe
a
these
good
things
issue,
are like stuck in a container out in the middle of the ocean. I mean, I doubt it, but who knows? I mean, honest to God, we could not, that one trip, what was it? Was it Wine and Dine or was it Marathon? We could not get regular Mickey ears. There were no Mickey ears.
No, Mike, and I ran into that again
No.
a couple weeks ago too. Like, I just want some dang Mickey ears.
That is the weirdest thing ever. That's when you know you're in trouble. I mean, there's a few signs. They can't get Mickey ears at Walt Disney World. That's trouble. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, hey, thanks for the great questions. We appreciate those both in the inbox live chat. You guys were on fire helping us out with great questions and great answers, great feedback. And we love answering these questions. Scotty, thanks to you for the great answers today. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And we'll do it again on Friday.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. This is awesome. Looking forward to Friday's show.
All right. Don't forget today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. You might not know this, but the Magic for Less is a platinum earmarked agency. Not many agencies are platinum earmarked. That means Disney has recognized them for being the best of the best for the amount of trips they book each year to the Disney destinations, and more importantly, the feedback they get from their guests after each and every trip. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That one extra click really does help us out. So again, bookmark it, use it as often as you can. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons who support the show, who allow us to put this out 3 to 4 times a week all around the world. Couldn't do it without you. And our patrons get Mike in the Midwest every week, a bonus podcast. If you'd like to get in on that, come on over patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. And you can follow Scotty G on the socials. He's at Epscot, EPSCOT, also at Palm Trees of Disney over there on Instagram. You can follow me at BRGuestMike on Instagram and Twitter. I'd love to talk to you this week. And of course, you can subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube and find out when we go live, get all the coverage there. And also one final thing, if you don't mind, leave us a rating and a review wherever you download the show. It's very much appreciated. Takes you a couple minutes, but it really does help us out. And if you've left us one, thank you so very much for that. I know it took some time, and we thank you for the kind words and the ratings and reviews. Finally, one last thing. Join us this Sunday night where we will be taking your calls, talking all things Disney, and we'll be playing a new game with our callers. If you want to play, you can play a game, and I might even have a prize. I'm going to see if I can dig out some prizes from the prize closet. So we'll see what we can do. So join us Saturday night. It won't be Saturday night. It'll be Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll be taking your calls over on Facebook and YouTube. So spread the word. The more, the better. All right, we're going to be back again on Friday talking about Scott's trip. We'll talk a little Run Disney. We'll talk Animal Kingdom Lodge, dining, swimming, big crowds, fun times. You got to get here to hear all about it. And Scott's got some hacks for you too, I think. If not, we'll make some up. We'll have a good time. We always do. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you real soon. That's pretty good.
Nice episode. A coworker texted me. So she bragged to me today that her credit score was 847. She's like, I'm only 3 points shy of the absolute best. And she's like the most competitive person.
Oh my God.
So I just had to mess with her. I'm like, I'm pretty sure like the credit scores can go up to 900.
I don't know anything about that.
So I was like, so you're way off. And like, I got a text her in the show. She's like, well, Scott, I've been researching him for the last hour. And it was just hilarious. Like, she just had to prove that.
That's competitive, man. When you're worried about
go
that.
up to 900 because she's got to have the best.
That's nuts. That is crazy. I love prizes too. I'm not saying it'll be a lot, but I'll try to find something.
I got to get some prizes together for my for the charity bib I did, because I'm gonna have to do that drawing soon.
Yeah, I know. That's gonna be, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. It'll be fun. Be good. Okay, so and thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Becca. Okay, let's do Friday show. Here we go. 51. Welcome to episode 1. It's not 1,000.
1,000. We're back in time.
God, that's a long time ago. Let's try it again. Welcome to episode 2051 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel, getting more senior each week as we go by. And we are here to have a good time talking Disney. I hope you had a tremendous week. Hopefully it was productive. You got all that work done, and now you can say it's Friday. Just got to put in another 8 hours. Put a wrap and a bow on this week, and let's enjoy the weekend and have a good time with friends and family. And that's what I'm doing right here. I'm hanging out with my buddy. Hashtag Scotty G from Up in the Mitten. Scott, how is it going? Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday. It's going great, Mike. Not to we derail a little bit from the Disney talk sometimes. So I got to start by saying, because, we can't not talk sports sometimes on this show.
Right.
And today is one of the best Fridays of the year, because we have all the conference basketball tournaments happening. The Big Ten tournament is happening. It's going deep. Michigan State's going to make a great run. But then it gets even better next Friday, where we have the NCAA tournament Fridays. That's absolutely the best day of the year. But I'm actually, I'm in pretty good spirits because I got the basketball going while I'm working right now. So going really well.
It would take the miracle of miracles for the Mizzou men's basketball team to make the big dance. But they're a 12 seed in the SEC tournament. They just have to win the tournament and then go in. You never know.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of conference tournaments. I was telling this to Hugh, Wade's son, today, actually, of the recording, that, Nebraska knocked out Wisconsin. I'm like, hey, that was a big win. Keep that rolling, because all you got to do is win 4 or 5 games in a row and you're in the big dance. All you got to do is win your conference tournament. That's all you got to do. So it gives hope for all these schools.
Of course, Paige works for the women's Mizzou basketball team, and they're a bubble team right now because they announced on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Yes, they announced I got to remember when the show release. They do announce this Sunday the the women's NCAA. They've already had the tournament. They got knocked out in the first round. Overtime loss. It was terrible. But they find out if they make the big dance for the women's tournament on Sunday. Hopefully they do. We were in the NIT last year, and that was not good. But we're one of 2 teams to beat South Carolina, the number 1 team in the country. I mean, they are a powerhouse, and we took them down with seven women. We only had 7 players that night, so anything can happen. Let us in.
Bubble team, those wins pay big dividends come Selection Sunday. So good luck to the women's Mizzou team. Michigan State, we've struggled, but we're going to be a lock for the tournament. And that's all we need. All we need to do is just get in. All we got to do is get in, and then Izzo will take us to our Final Four.
That's right. Give us the invitation. Anyway, so we are going to talk about your recent trip. Ricky has been MIA. Pam has been MIA. You've been MIA because everybody's been at Walt Disney World but me. And because of this, I mentioned this on Wednesday. Here's the thing. I'm telling you, and everybody that listens to this show knows this is absolutely the most true statement I could make here on a Friday. I'm on the pulpit. I'm preaching. Disney FOMO is real, people. Okay, so here's how it went. Scott's down there at Princess. I told myself back, when they were signing up for the races, I'm like, I love marathon. I'm going to do marathon. I love marathon. This year, I think I'm going to just take Princess and the spring races off. I need a little break. Everybody, it's like Friends. You got to we're on a break. I'm just going to, chill. Maybe I'll start it up again with Wine and Dine next year. I don't know, but I'm going to do marathon and enjoy it. And I'm just going to take a little break. So I was good with that. I was mentally fine with that until everybody gets down at Princess and everybody starts posting their videos and their pictures, having a good time. I went out to Mexican on Friday night, as we always do, sitting there eating my chips and guac and, having my combo platter, looking through it. I'm just feeling like, oh man, everybody's having so much fun. Yep. And so I told Pam at dinner while we were having Mexican, I said, would you care? All my friends, basically, I threw myself under. I said, all my friends, Scott, everybody's down there running. I'm on the team. I'm a team member. I should be there. It says BOGP on everybody's shirts. That. I'm a part of that podcast. I need to be there. I shouldn't be here. I should be there. It's like, you can go if you want. I don't care. So I was like, I'm only going to go if I had conditions, right? Here's the deal. I said, I looked a few days ago and the 10 miler was still open. I looked actually about 2 minutes before that, but I did look a few days before that too. And I was like, okay, if the 10 miler is still available and if I can get a room at Pop Century, and if the flights are reasonable. Those are the three conditions. Like in those
Pretty big three conditions, yeah.
and nowadays, like those are pretty rough. I mean, because hotel
You can't book a race without checking the resort availability because that's
right.
a death trap. Because then there'll be like a 2-bedroom king suite for $3,000 a night is the only room available.
I'll be in the King Kamehameha over at the Polynesian or some, the club level, and I'll need that. But yeah, and then my flight would be like, $1,200 for the, 17th row on Southwest or something. But it all came together. Bottom line is it all came together. I contacted Steven over at Give Kids World, got a 10K bid for a donation to Give Kids World. So that's a win-win. So I'm getting to come down. So I'm very excited to get to see everybody over Spring Surprise Weekend. But I mean, telling you what, you were having such a good time over this weekend. It wasn't just running either. It was just like seeing you in a swimming pool in February with your family and the meals and just you were hanging out with some of my best friends. I mean, we're best buds basically. But you were with all my other friends, everybody was having a good time. So I want to get you on here to talk about the weekend because the FOMO was real, man. It got me signing up and spending money. So it worked. So tell us you stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Let's start there.
Yeah, so we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and we have not stayed there for a while. And I tell you, I think I posted this on Instagram too. Like it really sparked my love for that resort. It was we're DVC members at Old Key West is where we own, but our first DVC stay on points was actually at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and it just brings back those good memories, Mike. And you know how it is. Like you think back on. Because I know you stayed there with the bunk beds with Paige and Mallory, and I'm sure you have great memories just thinking about there when they were younger. You just walk in there, you smell the resort, you see the sights, and it just takes you back to a happy place. So it was just awesome being there. I love that resort. So in true gardener fashion, though, it took a while to get our room. And we were there. We always take that first flight down, So we were at the resort at 11 o'clock and didn't get our room till 4. So we were just hanging out in the resort, so we were I hung by that fire pit that I love so much. We brought a card game. We played cribbage at the Mara for an hour, just hanging out, what we would do at our kitchen table. But that was fun, that's what gardener vacations are like these days now. It's not we have to be in the parks constantly all the time and hit these rides. We're playing board games at the Mara. That's our vacation now.
And you know what? That is vacation. I think it sounds kind of weird to say that you're going to do that because, most of our audience is theme park, go, go, go. Because let's face it, you're spending a lot of money. You want to maximize what you're doing. But if you take the time to do something like that, because I was not like that either until I kind of hung out with you guys, it's enjoyable. You don't have to do it for a whole day, but an hour of playing cards at your hotel or, by the poolside can be some of the best times of the whole trip.
Right. Yep. It really was. So, yeah, I just soaked up all that atmosphere, and the race weekends can be very challenging, where you're waking up 2:30, 2 o'clock, 3 in the morning, so somewhere in that hour window, depending on what your costume is or if you want to hit that first bus or not. I'm normally on the later side of that, I want to get more sleep, but those can be kind of difficult because you're not rope dropping parks, you're on a different sleep schedule than the rest of your family, but and we'll get into it, but I think we did one attraction very similar to Marathon Weekend. We went on, we went on 2 rides, I think the whole weekend. But we had a blast, just hanging out at the resort, just hanging out at the theme parks. I told the story on Wednesday that, we had a park reservation for Hollywood Studios. We're sitting there at the bus stop. We see all the other buses coming except the studios. We look at the wait times and, we don't have Genie Plus for that day. So we're like, man, we're going to be waiting. We're just going to be standing in line all day, it feels like. And an Epcot bus rolls in. I'm like, you know what? Let's just walk around World Showcase instead. So I canceled the theme park pass. I took a chance, Mike. I took a gamble. I'm like, I'm going to on the bus ride to Epcot, I'm going to see if I can switch it. And sure enough, I was able to. And we just had a great afternoon just hanging out at World Showcase. And I miss being able to do that. You can't really do that anymore with the park pass system, but it was kind of nice to be able to finally do that again, even though that's not going to work out 100% of the time like it did for us.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to hit a lot today. I'm going to hit you up with just some of the major things, kind of like I do on the Monday shows, because people have been asking, and we're going to talk a little Run Disney in a minute, but it's not going to be all Run Disney because I know not everybody's into that, but we do have a lot of runners too. So just kind of closing out Animal Kingdom Lodge. What kind of room did you have? Did you guys spend some time like looking at the animals? I know you guys are really big on pool time, especially during the cooler months back home.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you fell back in love with it, but I mean, was there something specific? Was it the dining? Was it just the overall feel?
Honestly, you just kind of hit it with that last statement. It was the overall feel. It's a combination of a lot of things. You know me, Mike. I love my background loops, and just hearing that background loop like takes me to a happy place. Even though I have the playlist on my phone, but like just hearing it in person does a lot. But we have a standard view room, and some standard view rooms, though, if you get the right one, you can still see some of the savannah. So this might have been why I had a late check-in, because I specifically asked for a certain set of rooms that I know that are standard that you can still see part of the savannah. So, and it was totally worth the 3 or 4 hour wait to get that room. So while we had a standard view, like we were seeing animals still out in the savannah from our balcony, which is one of like the highlights of Animal Kingdom, for sure. I mean, they have other great rooms too. There's your traditional savannah view rooms. They have pool view rooms, which are gorgeous. But I often joke about Animal Kingdom Lodge, like the walkways to the rooms. Like it seems like you walk like a mile sometimes to get to your room. But the nice thing is, like, they have those big windows every now and then where you can like take a break and look out at the savannah. Like you just stop. Like it seems pretty. It's a nice walk. Basically you can see the savannah. But resort is awesome. Jico recently reopened, which I know is a signature restaurant that you've been to, Mike.
I have, yes.
So
because it was a treat to Pam Forrest. She took a bunch of the agents there for an appreciation meal, and I appreciated it. It was very nice.
But it was so nice to go there. Beth had never been, so Beth, met us for Jico. She got to, get a taste of that. Jocelyn, who we have not seen in like 2 years almost, was there.
She's just a myth at this point. I haven't seen her in so long.
I know, right? So she was there hanging out with it was a girls' trip with friends that we all know too, Mike. So she came out to Jico. Like we got to catch up for a couple. I mean, in a signature place, like you can have a long meal, right? You just have great conversation. You order apps and drinks. It was just a spectacular time. Phil and Teresa were actually at a table close by.
Oh, nice.
Ironically enough, so Jico is back. It was great. It feels like they didn't miss a step. The decor is fabulous. The old fashioned I had was fabulous. I know Reggie and oh my gosh.
James.
Yes, thank you. Reggie and James are hanging out there. They had the same drink. I'm not trying to do a name dropping episode, but like when you go on these trips, you have a lot of friends that are down there. I'm running this trip. There you go. Ring the bell. But yeah, Animal Kingdom Lodge, just doing spectacular. Staff was great. Looking forward to being back there again. And I miss it. It's been a while since you've been there too, right, Mike?
I think it was the last time I ran Tower of Terror 10 miler. It was the last time we stayed there. Yeah, it was a 10 miler because it wasn't a host. This is how old it was. Because back then, not every hotel was a host hotel. And I took my very first cab ride. And that guy drove me up over the sidewalks up to the beginning, like to the drop off. He was breaking all kinds of laws because of the traffic. Like it was jammed up going into ESPN. I was like, I guess he goes to jail, not me. I don't know how this works, but we're breaking like 8 kind of traffic laws right now. But he got me in. I gave him a big tip. So
that's awesome.
I enjoyed it. So okay, let's talk race logistics here. Then we'll talk into dining and some other stuff. One thing. Okay, so Expo, real quick.
Oof.
How was the Expo? Because this isn't as big as Marathon. Was it a crazy house? Was it efficient? How was it?
So the Expo, right, always depends on when you go. What day do you go? What time of day?
Dude, I'm telling you, if you're a merch person, go at the beginning. But if you're not, do not go for like 4 or 5 hours till after it opens, because you will save yourself just the madness. It's like Black Friday. It's crazy.
So I got there an hour after it opened.
Crazy.
So Beth picked us up from the airport. She was going to take us to Animal Kingdom Lodge. We somehow missed a turn, and all of a sudden we're like right there, like turning into the ESPN. I'm like, well, we might as well go since we're right here. So we actually got, a decent parking spot, but man, like you're walking. It's interesting how like you walk uphill too, like to get to the Expo. So you're like walking up. You take a selfie by the globe. Everyone's in a good mood. They got the music going and everything. And like the first building on the right hand side as you're walking up is like where the Disney merch is. And I mean, it was that line was basically backed up to the parking lot, and then it was a crazy. Where they do like the there's like they have these posters where you can do like a photo of like the medal kind of on the side of that building.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing switchbacks through there that were super long. Like it had to have been a couple hours at least. And like I like the merch. I like getting the jacket. I like the Run Disney like weekend jackets. You know, we did that for Dopey this last time. I have other weekends as well. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna wait that long, you know. So we went into like the main place where and it's just a process. I know we talked about that on the show a million times, but it's a process where you got to go to one building to get your bib. Then you got to go to the main expo floor because that's where the shirts are. That's how they get you to go to the to see the vendors. And of course, it's all the way in the back, so you have to walk by all the vendors. It's smart. It's smart. So you know, we did all that, and it was painless as usual. And as we walked out, sure enough, the line had cut in half, but it was still too long for me, Mike.
All right.
But our friend Beth did go back, and she did give me a jacket, but Mike, doesn't fit. It's a women's cut. I don't know if they actually sell men's jackets.
That's the thing. Okay, that's what that is something I have learned is that if you're a guy running, and I mean, I get this, right? Originally about 5 years ago, Princess was, celebrated as like a women's empowerment weekend kind of thing, which I got 2 daughters. I'm cool with that. But I mean, the thing is, and if you look at the merch reveal, it's always women and all the stuff, which is totally fine. It's a women's weekend. But yeah, you got to watch. I mean, because I've never bought anything at the Princess races that I bought. I just go with the shirts. I'm like, the way I look at it, I've spent too much at Marathon already, so it's just a way to me to save money.
Yeah. And what's funny, Mike, so this is my 3rd year, I think, doing the challenge. The first year I did was like the glass slipper. Now I think it's called the fairy tale is what they call it. And I was thinking, like, I don't have any merchandise like that's like a fairy tale jacket or anything. And now I'm starting to think this must be why, because I don't know if they make a men's cut of any of it. So that's kind of disappointing. So when I go back for springtime, I got a jacket to return because it is a women's cut. I will tell you though, I think I've said this before, and I don't know where you land on this. I'm not a fan of the new shirts, like the material they use or the style. Like, I don't know, but like I love the colors of this weekend. And you know me, I'm a bright colored kind of guy. Like I wear pinks and yellows and highlighter green all the time. And that's kind of what the shirt colors were for this weekend's for the race shirts. So big fan of the race shirts. Have you seen those yet?
Yeah, I saw them. I did like them too. I hope Spring Surprise are cool looking too. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's nice to get some short sleeves too in the mix.
I love getting the short sleeves, even though like I run here in Michigan, but in the summertime, those definitely come in handy.
So, okay. So we're not going to break down like all 3 races, but just overall, let's talk transport. Because here's the one negative I heard over Princess Weekend from more than one guest is that there was some issues with folks getting on the buses and getting to, and also spectators that wanted to watch at the finish line. There was some issues with the bus service getting folks over to Epcot and to the start of the races. Did you have any issues with that? And then how was the experience on the course? Because you ran into, it looks like you had a good time, but logistically, how was it?
Logistically, for me, it wasn't a problem. Staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, every morning I went out, there was a bus, and you know how they have like a kind of like a director of traffic or keeping track of like who's getting on the bus. There's this guy like on Friday with the 5K. He saw me in my Cinderella tutu, and the guy was just dying. He was just, he's got like this beard that goes down to like his stomach. You know, he's like this crazy looking guy. Awesome. He's an awesome looking guy. And he's just cracking up over my tutu. And Mike, I saw him every single morning, and he was just he just loved it. But yeah, no issues for me. I will say 2 things on transportation. The day of the half, it was delayed. I don't know if you heard this. Very similar to Marathon.
Yeah,
very similar to Marathon 2020. We were delayed, and I don't know if buses were just missing resorts. Because I will say, I was staying at Jumbo, and the 5K and the 10K, we rode over to Kidani because the Animal Kingdom Lodge has like the brother and sister resorts. We drove over to Kidani to pick up, the guest over there, but we didn't on Sunday. So I was wondering, like, oh man, did we just like leave like Kidani Village behind? Like, I don't know.
It was totally. It could have been it.
I knew there was issues at the boardwalk too. So the race was delayed 15 minutes. And I swear this only happens on the hottest days of races because it was going to be super hot that day. And like the last thing you want is a delay start, when it's going to be smoking hot. And coming back that day, our bus driver got lost. So there's I can't even think of the road name, but I can picture it where like that you want to go straight to go towards like ESPN, or you can quick cut right to go to the studios, and to go to Animal Kingdom Lodge, you'd want to go towards ESPN, make a right. But our guy was like in the turn lane to go to studio, so he just like parked the bus basically in the middle of the road trying to get over. He couldn't get over, so he went towards the studios. And then we're going, so you're in the parking lot basically, and it is jam packed. I mean, because the park is just opening, because the races are so early in the morning and when you're done. And so he just does this crazy U-turn, like cutting off cars and just hopping over curbs. I was sitting next to Donna, so Donna knows what I'm talking about. And it was just hilarious, but we got back safely. But for the courses, the 5K course was the same over. That's the thing with Princess that kind of bugs me. If you do marathon weekend, you're doing the same exact courses that you just did 6-7 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true.
But I love that 5K course. That 5K course is awesome. How you go, like how you exit out Morocco and then come back through France. Like, I think that's really neat. And the 10K course, now you go through 2 parks. But let me talk about the 10K really quick. That was just different for me. So Emily, my daughter, I sign her up for these 10Ks.
I was going to ask about it because that's pretty cool. She was running though. And I heard she
didn't train. She didn't train, and she's registered. She's doing the Rallman. She's doing the 10K and the 10 miler for springtime as well. So you two are on the same plan here. So I'm warning her. She's got to train. But anyway, so we're in the corral with Neil. She got S1, by the way, but she held back to S3 with me. And you know how they bring the tape out to divide like the corrals in certain waves. So we were the tape line.
Nice.
So there we are. Like, we're holding the tape. We get up to the line. We drop the tape, and we wait for the announcers. And Clarissa and John are like 3, 2, 1, go. You have all this open road, and Emily just like shot out of there like a cannon. And Mike, I never saw her again.
Make sure you get on the right bus, kid.
Yeah. She did wait at the end for me. Like, she had already eaten like 2 bananas and her runner's box. She's just like chilling out there because I wanted to do a photo because she had a matching tutu on.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, though, I did send her off on a bus because I wanted to hang out a little bit. And she's like, I just want to get cleaned up. So, yeah, she did take a bus back on her own. But I was super proud of her. She was hurting though, because she kind of went all out for it, like she had all that rope and road. She's like, I'm taking advantage of it. I don't want to get swept. So boom, she was gone.
Sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, and I saw some pictures and it looked like she's having fun.
Yeah, they were good. I mean, the half marathon was good. It was hot because it started a little later. But that course, I mean, the first half is really fun. Then once you leave like Magic Kingdom, Grand Floridian Way, World Drive and all that, like it gets kind of hilly on some of those ramps, it's just, the sun is beaming on you. It's not the most fun, but it's a fun course. I just wish I wish every race weekend had a little slight alteration to the course. You know what I mean? But
so let me ask you this real quick. I mean, we're going to wrap the running. What are you hoping? Because we know a little bit. We know that it's Race for the Taste for the 10K. We know it's Expedition Everest for the 5. We know it's the Tower of Terror 10. We don't know a ton of details though. Still. Right. I mean,
we don't.
It's called the Spring Surprise. I mean, is there a surprise you would like to see? Here's the thing. I was kind of down on the Tower of Terror 10 miler because I'm like, it was the greatest thing about the race was that it started like at 11 o'clock at night. It was dark. It was like scary. They had the laser lights. But the thing is, this race is going to start in the dark. I mean, it's going to be 5 a.m. and the sun will be coming up as we finish, but half of the race will be in the dark.
So surprise, I'm hoping for that. And I was talking to Georgia about this. He refreshed my memory on this because I never ran the 10 miler, but I remember listening to you talk about it, other podcasters, Georgia talking about it, and he triggered a memory of mine that there was like a pond or some like body of water where they had this like crazy,
by the studios. It was by the entrance to the studios, and they had like fire. The whole pond caught on fire. Yeah.
So I hope they have that going because that would be sweet. Race of the Taste, like I don't even know what that old course was, but I'm just hoping like maybe we get like a little extra more Epcot time. Maybe you just run all of Epcot, like you do a whole lap of World Showcase and then like run through Future World and backstage. Like maybe they try to isolate it to you can't do 6 unless you do a bunch of laps or something, but maybe they try to give you some more Epcot part time. Like, I don't know. I'm excited to see what these race courses are, but like, Mike, we're like 3 to 4 weeks away. Like, I'm surprised
Right.
we don't have anything on it yet.
Well, see, now that we've said it, it will have already dropped by the time the show comes out. That's what we do. So you're welcome.
For sure. I'm excited for the night race though. Expedition Everest 5K. Like, you got to rethink. It's interesting when you have a night race and morning races on the same weekend. It's like your eating and sleeping structure just gets like so messed up because like when do you have dinner the night of the of the 5K? Like, I'm gonna have dinner like right at 5:00 when the turf clubs opens, but I'm not gonna go crazy because like in a couple hours, 3 hours later, we're gonna be running.
Yeah, that was my issue with the old Tower of Terror. I remember that. In the Wine and Dine, the half marathon. Yeah, that was rough. I do remember that because I was like, oh man, because I always run on an empty stomach, always.
Yeah. Me too.
You can't do that. You can't do.
But like, yeah, I can't starve myself.
Yeah, true.
But the thing with the 5K though, like I'll probably walk it, to be honest, depending on like what the course is, or if they're gonna. That's another thing. Are they gonna bring back the obstacles that they had at the old Everest 5K? Like, because if I'm gonna be going through like hay crawling and jumping over hay barrels, like I don't know, like maybe I don't want to have a full stomach.
I just think it can't be that crazy because of the liability, right? I mean, because you can't have anything that's that easy to like slip on or trip
That's
over.
what the old course was.
I know, but it just seems like it's 2022. I don't know. It just seems like some things used to happen that I hope it does. I mean, I hope it's crazy, and if it is, I'm gonna sign up for it next year. Anyway, so let's move out of the running.
Hold on, though. Like, what do you think though? Do you think the next springtime surprise they would do the same 3 races, or would they do something different? Or maybe it depends on how this one goes.
I think they're waiting to see how this one goes. I mean, the Tower of Terror, shockingly, I mean, is still open. Like, and I mean, what's weird is, I mean, obviously this must have more capacity than the others because the 5 and the 10. And I think, the further the distance, the less people sign up because it's more of a commitment. But
I think it's more though. I think like because you talk about marathon weekend, the half marathon has the most out of any of the 4 races over marathon weekend. So I don't know.
But I mean, the one race over the past, say, 5 years that everybody has screamed for Run Disney to bring back is the Tower of Terror 10. I mean, that's what I've always heard.
Oh yeah, me too.
And the fact that it didn't sell out is
it's the one race I regret that like I wasn't in the Run Disney yet. Like it was actually the day we met was a Tower of Terror race weekend. And like I was so jealous of you that you were running it later that night. Like, and other people were like, oh man.
I'm glad that I get to stay. That's my one race that I'm perfect. Yeah. So I get to stay perfect on that. Okay. So hopping out of the running, sorry to all the non-runners, but thank you for hanging with us there. You may get in there. You never know. Cause I hated running for a while too. And then boom, here I am, Run Disney sweatshirt. Okay. So it was hot though, the weather when you were down there, and you mentioned the crowds were a little nutty over that weekend. So tell us about the whole park and getting around all that.
Crowds were crazy and very similar to marathon weekend. I just, and my touring style has changed over the years, but like I can't get into like doing a whole bunch of attractions on a race weekend because it's crowded. There's lots of runners. There's lots of people. I think this week was crowded too. It could have been carryover from President's Weekend the week before. That tends to happen with Princess, but it was just so crowded. And and we could have stayed in lines and done things, but I wanted to stay off my feet. Like the worst thing you can do on a run weekend, I think, is just standing.
I mean, running and walking is better than standing. Standing kills my back.
Standing is so bad.
Still, yes.
But we still went to the parks and did things. Like we went to Magic Kingdom a couple of times. I talked about Epcot. One cool thing we did. I talked about this on Wednesday. I teased it a little bit, but we did a character meet and greet because the 10K was Tiana, and she's back at Princess Fairy Tale Hall. So we went and met her, got pictures of her with our medals. And like, even though it's social distance, so you can't do the hugs anymore, it really wasn't that awkward. Like she had a conversation with us. She was telling us what her favorite dipping sauce is for beignets because we were going to go to French Quarter and get beignets afterwards.
Oh, you were killing me with those, by the way. You were killing me.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, I think I got to go get beignets like every trip now because they're so good. They're so good. So yeah, like the character meet and greet was great. We met Rapunzel beforehand too. So I hope we can get closer to doing hugs again, and this one is less awkward because it wasn't a masked character. You know what I mean? Like, so it was more interactive because we could have that conversation, but really enjoyed that. We did Ratatouille's, one of the hottest items. So that's the one line we stayed in, wanted to make sure it's a Gardner family favorite. The movie is. So yeah, we did Ratatouille without masks, Mike, without wearing a mask. That's another key thing, right? So like the mask mandate went away like a few days before this trip. And every time we've done Ratatouille, have our mask on. We had the 3D glasses that are all foggy, so
folks that have been on Ratatouille, I mean, you wear glasses, but these are serious glasses. Like they're big and thick. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically every time we've done it, like we couldn't see because they're all fogged up. So
exactly. That's a big deal.
It was actually nice to enjoy that attraction without having foggy glasses.
Oh, I can see it now. Yeah, totally.
That's what's happening. So still cute attraction. Like we waited like 60, 70 minutes, which I know is kind of long, but it's a new attraction. It was fun. But yeah, so that was good. Just hanging out at the parks, but I haven't touched on dining, which is like everyone's favorite thing, right?
All right, so let's go there. We got like 10 minutes left or so.
So I talked about Gico. Gico is great. Glad to have that back open. A real dining highlight though. I'll just kind of throw this in because you talked about Pam being MIA. They were down there, so we actually had 50s with Pam and Steve and Beth. And I'll say, Mike, like I'm kind of over 50s. Like I don't know how you feel right now, but like the menu has changed. I know they've taken like one of your Pam's like favorite dessert away. I mean, that was a few years ago, like the s'mores thing. I think she liked, right?
Yeah, she loved that. That's her favorite restaurant. Yeah.
Yep. They used to have a chicken pot pie that I loved. That's not on there. Like I don't know. And I think in the post-COVID world, they're not doing as much interactive, like fun, like stuff, So like,
but okay, you say that, but I think it does because remember that one time we were down there in August, right?
It was the best experience we ever had.
That was the craziest person we ever had because I felt sick that night. And that guy was all over all of us. I'm like,
I wish I remembered his name. I just know he was from Morocco, and he was
awesome. But it was the weirdest of times. Like that was where you couldn't be within 20 feet of each other back then. Right. Yeah, no, but
and he was.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
but I don't know, and this happens sometimes. Like that's one of my go-tos at the studios, and I think I'm kind of burned out on it, so I need to maybe start looking for sci-fi or something different, and that happens. But I'm kind of over 50s. It was still a good meal. It was solid, but like I just can't for a while now. But the highlight for dining was a new favorite, and I know you haven't been there yet, but it's Citrico's at the Grand Floridian. The remodel that they've done to Mary Poppins is just unbelievable. The restaurant is gorgeous. When we got seated, they asked if you were celebrating anything. Like, yeah, just the Run Disney races. Like that was that's our big thing for this weekend. And they're seating us to our table, and I've been in there a few times. And the way they're like walking, I'm like, oh man, we're getting closer to this window, and I know like you can see Magic Kingdom fireworks from this window. We get closer. They sit us at what I would call the perfect table if you wanted to like watch fireworks at Citrico's. And like we got seated. I think it was like a 6 o'clock ADR. So we got sat down. I was like, we're taking our time. we're going to order some drinks. We're going to order our appetizers and say, we're not sure what we want to order yet. Enjoy the appetizers. Then we'll order our meal.
Here's the thing. Let me just tell everybody. Scott takes care of his servers, so this is mutually beneficial for everybody.
It was very beneficial for her. Her name was Robin. She's one of the best servers we've ever had. She's been at Citrico's, I think, for 20 plus years. She took care of us. We took care of her. It was a perfect evening with great food. And then right as the desserts came is right when the enchantment started. So we just got to watch the fireworks show right from our table. It was a glorious evening.
So when you talk about these restaurants, I'm not kidding, because I hear from a lot of my guests at the Magic for Less. They're like, okay, Scott talked about this on a show, or Pam talked about that. Because, I don't talk a lot about it, a lot of the signature stuff, but you guys do. And then they ask questions. So do you have any suggestions as far as entrees or appetizers, any recommendations for these restaurants?
So they have this soup that is unbelievable. It's like this chowder soup. It was funny. Beth was like, I don't want that. That doesn't sound very good. And like Elizabeth ordered it. She's like, can I try just a little bit? Next thing you know, Beth is calling Robin over. Like, I need one of those. It was that kind of meal. Like, I think we had like 3 or 4 appetizers. I'm going back to steak. I talked about it on Wednesday. Like any good restaurant can make a good steak. I think it's a sweet corn bisque. That's what it is. Not a chowder. But anyway, their filet, I think, is one of the best I've ever had. I used to say California Grill hasn't been up to par. I could say with confidence that Citrico's is like a top 2 signature restaurant for me, one of the top 2 steaks if you like a filet. It's so good. And we kind of cheat with the desserts. They have a great dessert menu, but we're all little kids at heart when we're at Walt Disney World, so we always get the kids sundae.
Nothing wrong with that. I get a Mickey bar on the cruise sometimes.
I just want some ice cream sometimes. Like I love oh, we got this awesome like chocolate mousse cheesecake, a lava cake, blah blah blah. Like sometimes I just want some vanilla ice cream.
I know. I hear you. So, but the place I went to Narcoossee's with you that time, right at the Grand Floridian.
Yeah,
it's fancy.
That we had the almond cheesecake, which is like the best. I love it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this though, and again, I know a lot about Disney, but I don't know a lot about upper end dining. Narcoossee's and Citrico's, they're not at the same level as far as fancy.
Citrico's, they're equal. They're equal. They're both signatures. Yeah.
I know they're both signature, but would you consider Citrico's nicer than Narcoossee's?
Oh, so I think with the remodel of Citrico's, I would say Citrico's is fancier now because Narcoossee's it needs some TLC. It's old. It's outdated. It just needs some sprucing up.
But it's fancy. I mean, it was definitely fancy.
I mean, you're right on the water. It's a gorgeous restaurant. The food, I think the food is still slightly better at Narcoossee's. But it's just the atmosphere of Citrico's now, I think it gives it the upper hand. But I heard that Narcoossee's might be going through a refurb. So that's going to be a game changer if that happens. But it's like picking between, Paige and Mallory, Mike. Like, I mean, they're both so awesome. Like I can't pick a favorite,
Well, it depends on the day.
It depends on the day. Right?
It actually gets pretty easy depending on the day a lot of times.
But I was going to comment on something. So Beth was driving us around. We didn't rent a car this trip. So shout out to Beth for being like our chauffeur. So she dropped us off to Animal Kingdom Lodge a lot. And Mike, we were like, every time it was like 10 cars deep to get in. And then I noticed it that one day where the bus driver, took us to the studios. Granted, the park was opening. I mean, the whole parking lot entrance is just flooded with cars. Same thing happened at Epcot the day that I changed that park reservation. Like the bus driver couldn't even get over. There were so many cars getting the park. So I'm seeing a lot more cars, and I think it's due to Magical Express is my theory going away. So it's creating more jams, I think, because not everyone is using the Disney transportation. You're seeing more cars on the road, more cars going to the resorts. So just something to keep an eye on, like something that would be like really easy to quick get into your resort is taking a long time now because of all that.
Because I was a huge Magical Express fan, still am. I lament Magical Express going away. I just think that was such a smart move by Disney business wise. It keeps the guests on property because as soon as honestly, your trip started at your home airport, right? When you sat at your gate at your home airport, you knew like you were like in the bubble at that point because you landed at MCO. Your bags were going to show up at your hotel, pre-COVID. You were going to get on a Disney bus. You were set. I mean, you were really, once you're at the gate at home, you were good until you got to the luggage carousel after the trip back home at your home airport. You're right. Now there's so many logistics as far as that. And so many people, especially in this like first trip back post no Magical Express, because everybody's kind of in that boat right now. Like, okay, it's my first race weekend without Magical Express, my first summer vacation without Magical Express. And I think, what do we know? Most of us know we can rent a car because that's what you do. Like if you fly to Washington, D.C., you fly to, California, you land at the airport, a lot of people rent a car. And so you're right. I mean, if you think about the urban planning of a place like Walt Disney World, it's got 22 hotels, 4 theme parks, all these roads and toll plazas to get into the parking lots. You're right. I mean, that's gonna bring down guest satisfaction just for traffic because
it brought down guest satisfaction as being someone on a bus because we had to deal with all the extra traffic on the road. I think it's going to be really interesting because you're just going to see. I can't even say a number, like 5 times as many cars. Like, I don't know how many more people are renting cars, but then it's people that aren't used to driving on these roadways driving.
Right. That's the worst. And you can't blame anybody because, the purple road signs are going away. They're blue. No, just kidding.
Oh, that was one thing I forgot to mention about going back to Run Disney though.
Yeah.
So my first princess, I remember I ran way off course to get a selfie with the purple road sign because I just love them. And like with the news of like, I mean, we assume the purple road signs are going away because the new one is blue for the Star Wars hotel. But the cruiser, but I made sure I got a selfie with every possible purple road sign on the Princess Ave. And that just made it fun. Instead of doing character stops, that's what I did to make the race fun.
And that'll mark, hopefully not, but it probably will mark a specific time and place, like for that weekend. Last time. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, just to recap it all though, like the Run Disney races can be challenging with a family. So, Elizabeth was with me. Emily came down. She missed marathon weekend, but, we brought her down for this one. And granted, I mean, we have a great time, but the sleep schedule is thrown off. The meal schedules are thrown off. We're eating earlier than we normally do because I'm trying to go to bed. And then I get to the hotel and I can't fall asleep because, you just can't. Yeah. So you're missing fireworks shows often. The meals are weird. You're not in the parks as much. So it doesn't feel like a normal, what we would normally do for a family vacation. So that makes it rough sometimes, but you just got to go in knowing like this vacation or this weekend is more about business. It's taking care of that Run Disney, like I always see it as a business trip, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, that's how it goes. And I'm excited for our next one. So we got the springtime event coming up, which is not a Run Disney, but it's Emily's spring break. So we're coming down 8 days before that starts. So we're going to do a whole family vacation before.
You're going to be tired by the time.
Going to be exhausted. I know. It's going to be good though. But yeah, great time. Animal Kingdom is awesome. Really love being there and just being at Walt Disney World in that time of year where Mike, I thought Emily was going to have a snow day one day because it was so blizzardy. Like we were in a winter storm watch. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So
dang.
I know that's the ideal thing when you take your kid out of school. You hope for those snow days, but it's getting that escape from Michigan weather. We talked about it. That's just the perfect time of year to make a quick trip to Florida.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. And how about we get together Sunday night, take some calls. And if anybody has any questions about your trip, and we'll play some games and we'll just talk about, we can talk about Galactic Star Cruiser with our callers, because that's what took over last time a couple weeks ago. And we've seen a lot more since then. So
you've seen Len getting busy on the cruiser.
You mean Hank Lonely? I think.
Yeah, I forgot what the name was. Yeah, that was so great.
So we're driving to Chicago. I'm trying to explain this whole thing to my wife, and she knows of Len because obviously I've talked with him over the years. Like, the guy writes the unofficial guide. He was on WDW Today back in the. She doesn't care. She doesn't listen to podcasts. But so then I showed her the picture. You saw the picture on Instagram, right? Of like in front of his house before he got off. Like he's got the publicity shot and he's dressed up like Han Solo. She's like, wait, what's he doing? I'm like, never mind. He's got a backstory. Why does he have a backstory? Did they give him the backstory? I'm like, no, no. I was like, if you want to listen, she's like, no, let's just listen to 80s on 8.
That's awesome.
But it was hilarious. Yeah, I mean, Len, that's pure Len. That's perfect.
It was great. It made me smile. That was good stuff.
Perfect. I mean, I'd have paid so much to be on with him because he is so funny. Yeah, that was. But my wife, you can't tell that third person to somebody that doesn't know his whole story.
That's why I won't even bother telling Elizabeth. There's no
exactly. It was like 80s on 8. Let's listen to some AHA or something. Yeah. So we can't do this. Anyway, I mean, we had a 5-hour drive and it wouldn't have been sufficient. So anyway, so Sunday night, join us 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central, Facebook and YouTube. We'll be taking your calls, playing some games, having a good time. Don't forget today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan that next Disney vacation, Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney. We do it all. We're standing by this weekend to take great care of you. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon for all of your shopping needs. And I'm about to sneeze. Hang on. Woo! About to sneeze. Okay. And we love our patrons. Thank you so much for your support each and every month. We could not do this without you. If you'd like to get a bonus show every week called Mike of the Midwest, come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give Scott a follow on the social media. He's at EpScott, EPSCOT on Instagram and Twitter. You can also follow his account over there, Palm Trees of Disney on Instagram. And I'm on Instagram and Twitter as well at beourguestmike. And I'd love to say hello this weekend. So give me a follow. And we can converse over there too. One more thing, please, if you don't mind, this weekend, you have a couple minutes, give us a rating and review wherever you download the show, especially on Apple Podcasts. That really does help us out. And thank you to everybody who has done that already. means a lot to us. Thanks for the kind words. All right, we're going to get out of here and we will reconvene this Sunday night live, and we hope you will be there with us as well. So for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Friday and an awesome weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Wah, 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 wah. All right, that was cool. That worked.
Yeah, I didn't think that was my best trip report. I wasn't too prepared, but it was all right, I guess.
I thought it was really good. We hit running, we hit dining, we hit hotel. Yeah, that was, I thought, really good. Good stuff. We'll go eat.
Yeah, goulash.
Goulash. What's goulash?
I think everyone has like their own version of goulash, but like, so we like rigatoni. So we'll put it. You can choose like a pasta. We pick rigatoni usually with ground beef, tomatoes, kidney beans. That's kind of how we make ours. But
oh man, that sounds good. I'm just having Taco Bell. But we do have. But I got Pam. So real quick story. So she was at school today teaching. So I went to get her birthday cake because today's her birthday, and she always loves those cake from Dairy Queen, the ice cream cakes from Dairy Queen. You know what I'm talking about? Like they made of ice cream. Yeah. And they have them in the case right inside the Dairy Queen. And so I always just go in and get one, and they usually write the name on top. Well, I go up there at like 2:00 this afternoon. Pam's still at school. And I go to the door, and it's locked because there's a sign, closed, dining room closed due to staff shortages. Well, it's been open like for the last 2 or 3 months. But and so I'm like, well, dang, like I can't order, I can't drive through and order a cake. Cause I mean, how do you order a cake? So I do go to the drive through, and I'm like, hello. I'm like, I need to get a cake. Can I come in and get a cake? It's like, no, you can go online, DQ. I'm like, I need this for like this afternoon, like tonight. She's like, I'm like, so we can get you one in the drive-through. I'm like, well, how do I tell you what I want? Like, because I could see them in the case, like, but I couldn't, I could see them from a distance. She described me every cake in the case. She's like, we have one that's blue and it's got musical notes, and one's green and it's got balloons. I'm like,
that's awesome.
She's like, it's 8 inches, it's 12 inch. I'm like, dude, I need the one that feeds 3. So I don't need the big honking one. I need a decent size, but not the big dude. Like, I don't need one that feeds 20. There's 3 of us here. I'm like, I just need it to be. And she's like, oh, we have a new kind. I'm like, oh, okay. What's the new kind? She's like, it's a Blizzard ice cream cake. I'm like, oh my God, it's made out of Blizzard stuff. She's like, yes. She's like, what kind of Blizzards is your wife like? I'm like, she likes peanut butter Reese's. It's like, we have one in here that's made out of peanut butter Reese's. I'm like, sold. Give it to me. I'll meet you at the window.
It sounds really good, actually.
Oh my God, we're tearing that up in a little bit. So
okay, well, enjoy that, man. That sounds good.
I'll take a picture and send it to you. So for once, I'll have the better dessert tonight. So
you will for sure, man. I can't tell you that.
All right. Well, thanks for saving my butt, and eny your goulash.
We'll do. All right. Enjoy the Taco Bell. I already told Pam happy birthday, but when you sing happy birthday to her, tell her that
I will.
Just in the garbage.
I will. All right. Have a good one, buddy. I'll
see you.
All right. See you.